Good evening, and many thanks for Adobe to having me today. I'm super excited to be here. Normally, I'm one of those seats, and today I can't believe that I'm actually talking to you. I'm going to talk to you about who I am, what I do, how I do it, and why I do it, and maybe along the way, I might even encourage you to change the world with me. I'm Radim Malinic, and for the last 10 years, I've been working on the name of Brand New. As you can tell from my accent already, I'm not a UKIP voter. I was born in the Czech Republic. And for the last 15 years, I've been living in this glorious country, and I totally love it. I live in southwest London in a place called Esher. Don't worry if you've never heard of Esher. People outside Esher never heard of Esher. This is my studio, and it's misleading because it's never this tidy. The place is chaos, but I've tidied up with a picture. As you can see in the bottom left corner, there's my oversized Apple Watch. I don't really need a £300 gadget to tell me I need to get away from the desk, because I've got a dog who gives me a reason to come out here and go for a run and clear my mind when it's quite difficult sometimes. Not only I've gained a fitness instructor, I've also gained a resident comedian. And that's some of his finest work. It gets better. Oh yes, he's amazing. Just to clear up any confusion, his name is Hendrix, named after the great Jimi Hendrix, not Hendrix the Gin or Christina Hendricks, just to be sure. As I take lots of pictures, I always wondered who are the people who post pictures of babies, cats and dogs to Instagram. Well, it turns out it's me. I love colour, I love what colour means to us, how it makes us feel, but I've got a really feel of commitment. So I printed business cards in 6 different colours. I choose them on depending how I feel in the day. I choose my trainers depending on the day. Today is a grey day. And I'm happiest wearing odd socks. If you ever wondered who posts pictures of odd socks to Instagram, it's me. I'm always on the lookout for something new. As a former musician, I always try to find new music. Spotify's my best friend. And when I find what I love, I just play it to death over and over and then move on to something new. When it comes to visual inspiration, my Instagram stream is pictures of vegan food and surfboards. I love surf photography, mainly for the reason that it's just the contrast of stillness and the energy it encapsulates. I love fashion and still life photography. Totally get a kick out of a simplistic and elegant product design. I love it. I'm a person of a very intriguing mind. Maybe I should slow down. I'm intriguing mind. I love looking for reasons. I love looking for desired paths in life. I love solving tasks in different ways all the time. With that, I don't really believe in doing one thing and doing it well. I believe we should do more, and we should do it in the best way we can. I believe we shouldn't tie ourselves with one style of work. I think we should really explore what's out there. I think we should say yes to everything that comes our way. And I think we should regret the choices that we've made as opposed to the choices that we haven't made. And with that, all of those ideas and philosophies feed into my works. I would like to play you my showreel just to show you what I do.
Keeps me motivated.
Thank you very much. If you did like the track that's playing in the background, I'll post on my Twitter where to download it for free. It's a track I made with a friend based on now my travels in Uganda, and it's available for free download. Before I set up on my own, I had one design job, a one-day job, and my job description wasn't too long. It was pretty much to design, and my second job description was to get out of tea rounds. That was pretty much what I did. But when I started out on my own, I realized I had to grow from being just a designer. There were so many new requirements, every day was different, every project was different, and I had to grow. As we all agree, the creative industry is ever-changing, constantly changing place. No 2 days are the same. And it's quite sometimes hard to navigate because we've got new devices, new features, lots of new things all the time. And to make sense out of it, I believe as creatives, we've got a need for extra skills and for extra knowledge. I mean, what we do within the Adobe InDesign and everything, it's great, but to further our work, we really need to kind of start looking on the outside of what we can bring in and make our work better. Kind of need to keep up. So I always ask myself, like, how can I make better work? How can I move forward? How can I grow as a professional? And kind of be on a constant journey of the evolution. And for that, I believe that we kind of all need black belt ninja skills. We need that extra level of what we could do. Sometimes being just talented in one discipline isn't enough, and we all need something that surprises people. And to give you an example of what I really mean with this analogy, I'm going to take us on a football field. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a Swedish striker, and he scores the most magnificent goals. Not necessarily, to my opinion, because he's a great footballer, because he's a black belt in Taekwondo. And if you're not familiar with his work, I'll take 35 seconds of your time and show you some of his finest moments that he does. Right. I think we all agree this is not normal. I mean, we don't see Wayne Rooney scoring goals like these. You know, he's just, I think, imagine if you had a team of players, like of extra skilled players like this. He hit the ball at 8 feet high. Like, how amazing is that? I want to create work that represents that sort of logic. Like, I just want to do that. Imagine when you had agency full of people who kind of wanted to be, not living double lives, but kind of having extra skills that will make them better. When I was starting up some 10, 15 years ago, it was easier to find through Yahoo Search a manual for nuclear bomb rather than Photoshop tutorials how to retouch skin. These days, the place is amazing. Like, I mean, you can literally, you don't have to try to stumble across a tutorial of someone who will be telling you how to make better work. Someone who's at the top of their tree telling you, their secrets. And it's sometimes when you think about it, most of these skills are just using the same software in a different way. If you're a 100% designer, let's say you're the best amazing graphic designer, borrowing one or two of these skills will totally propel you into different heights by doing work that is more enjoyable, more satisfying, and takes you further, because we don't really stamp out this little patch. We want to kind of sort of be on a constant evolution. That's how you'll feel. We'll be ready for absolutely anything that's to come. And when you think about it, the skills are one side, samurai knowledge is the other side. You know how to use the skills. We need to know what's basically, we have the understanding of the playing field. Pretty design isn't really enough most of the time. We live in times of data analytics, big data, success tracking, performance analytics. It's kind of like everything's changing and everything's being tracked in live time, and it's not always what it used to be, like just to create a poster and see how many people will turn up. If you do an ad these days, people will be analyzing, will get numbers, and it will be all just a bit confusing. This is the sign of our times. We engage in science to understand our behavioral patterns. Post office is trying to make things better by using biometrics and neuroscience. And it's the awareness where our work goes. If you think about, for example, you're a product designer, sometimes it's quite likely that you'll be just sort of living within compounds of your life and thinking, okay, I want to make it red because red is my color. But when you think about it, it's all about a 360 experience, like just to think about around the boundaries of having the understanding where all of this goes, because everything works in parallel. And I'm not asking for people to be expert marketers or marketeers if they're a product designer, but to have the understanding of psychologically and of where all of this goes. Because when you think about it, if you don't have an understanding of the subject you're designing for, you're really designing for yourself, because we're not designing for other designers, for some of us maybe, but we're designing for the broad public. We're designing for the consumers, and I think it's very important to bear that in mind. To even give in meetings or give in presentations better sort of arguments for design decisions, And when you give better arguments, nobody really argues with correct answers. For that, I would encourage you to keep looking for something new, far away from, look across your boundaries where you are right now, and see what you can find. It's all of these almost unrelated things that you can pick up along the way that will make you think differently, it'll make you sort of present your case better and make your work better. Because I believe when you take your ambition, your talent, your skills, and bolt on some knowledge, I believe miracles can happen. I believe, like, I've kind of been using this logic for the last few years, and I totally believe that everything's possible, like every client could be won over. And this quote, which I really believe in and I really love, was taken from a surf movie as a sort of budding surfer. When I heard it, I thought, that's so poignant, because it kind of almost means like how we work with clients. When you think about it, working with clients, it is a bit like surfing, because it's really hard. Like, it's quite hard to learn it at first. You have to endure lots of wipeouts. You get knocked off, and before when you catch the first wave, it's an amazing feeling, and that's almost like the first client project that goes smoothly. You punch in the air thinking, I want to do more of these because this is amazing. Clients are this sort of rare breed by treating design and creativity like a Chinese buffet. Too many choices, everything on one plate, and it's down to us to really sort it out. It's down to us to sort of cook Michelin-style meal out of just these ingredients. It's up to us to get to the bottom of what matters. Sometimes when you take a brief, and it's as valid as it may seem, there's lots of questions that you need to ask. And it's, as I would sometimes think, there's always one answer to one question at one given time. It's just like solving a problem. If people say, we want to do all of this for this particular demographic, with this particular product, and we want you to design it, but what if we don't like it? I believe there is only one answer at that time. And when you apply this sort of logic, I believe any project could be the dream project. You can turn any brief into the brief that will suit you when you want to sort of project your personality, your style, and make it your life's ambition. Make it basically just, why would you be working on something that you don't enjoy when you can just turn a corner, give a valid argument, throw in some extra skills, and you will see it will just be amazing. If you were to ask me, like, do I believe that only great designers have great clients? I believe anyone can have great clients. Everyone can do great work, and it doesn't matter at what level you are. It doesn't matter who you're working for. I believe in starting small. That's how I started. And I've found out that I had a greater impact over the time. I didn't rush into be sort of bullish about my ideas. I was listening at first, and it then sort of gave me a sort of platform to work with people that I really enjoy. It's also about creating work that we are happy to share with the world, something that we don't hide in our drawers, and that's something that we share with the world. And I want to ask, by a show of hands, who, for example, here uses Instagram to show their work, or... Okay, quite a tame bunch. I was expecting quite a few. Yes, I use Instagram myself. I like the instantaneous feedback. It's global. It's amazing. And I use Behance. I use other social networks. But sometimes I wonder if we have fallen for it. I mean, I believe that social media and promotion on social media is a little bit like an addiction, and it's a little bit like a distraction, because you finish a piece of work, you email it to yourself, because AirDrop for me never works. So you put it on Instagram, you put your phone down, and thinking, okay, I'm going back to my project. We'll see later what if anything happened. 5 minutes later, oh, I wonder if I've got any sort of interaction. And your brain is override, you have no reward centers in your brain going happy, and your project's waiting, because you're kind of playing. And in connection to us, like running design companies, we run media companies from our pockets. We are broadcasting heaps of content, and sometimes I wonder, are we listening to the others, or are we even listening to ourselves? I mean, are we producing too much sometimes? Do we sometimes lose the moment of genius, of that idea that you just create quickly, put it online, and it dissipates? Just to give you an example, I've taken Instagram as an experiment, and I've looked at these just 3 hashtags alone. And the sheer volume that's out there already is incredible, because I've compared these numbers to what it was last month, and they have grown by 100 to 150,000 images with 3 hashtags alone. Altogether, those 3 hashtags alone amassed to 6.4 million images. When you add extra social networks, we realize really like the question is, are we taking notice anymore? Are we just in this big muddle of things? And have we gone too far to the digital side? Because out of 6.4 million pieces that are on Instagram alone, I believe at least 6.1 would be just digital work, and everything else could be just things that we have made with our hands. What we are creating digital footprint, and as any footprint in the sun, it dissipates with time. It turns into dust, and dust turns into air. So about 2 years ago, I thought to myself, I was planning my next Instagram post, trying to share with the world, and I thought, why would I need to kind of try to outdo myself with something that, no, I was just like, let's play this designer's game, like who's the best and who can use Photoshop best. And I thought, how about create something out of what I've already got? And this was 2 years ago. And I thought, I'm going to go handmade. I'm going to take these 3 vector drawings, and I will just create something that's total opposite of digital. As I didn't know where to start, I went on Google, and then something like this happened, and for the next year, I didn't really touch it. I had this idea, but I didn't really follow up. I was just like, okay, Instagram. Luckily, I met in person, about a year ago, I met my new friend, Chris Alexander, who's a fantastic human being, very talented resin toy maker, who put me on the right track. And he showed me where to get stuff 3D modeled, 3D printed. Then he went on to Chris in Perth in Scotland, into his workshop, where he performed all of these beautiful tasks. But to read it, I think will take us about 20 minutes. So Chris suggested I make it slightly shorter. What it is, the handmade process involves sanding, painting, sanding, filling, painting, sanding. So you get the idea. It's just quite a lot of hard work that Chris worked on my behalf. What I wanted to create freestanding sculptures that would just exist, like something that I can hold in my hand. And as I've told you earlier, I've got proper lack. I mean, I think I've been working digitally for far too long because I've got total fear of commitment to one color. So I've changed my mind about 5 times. I was trying to think, what should I do? What is my projection? What is my characteristic? What is expected of me to to use these colors? I have removed myself from that situation. I've decided that I want to sort of preempt what these sculptures would look like in situ, like if they were living in someone's front room or someone's bedroom, what would they look like, and how can the color be have more longevity rather than what is necessarily me, because I wanted to create something that really fills into that space. What made me really smile is that when I started posting these previews to social media, obviously, I get lots of comments saying that it's a fantastic render. I'm thinking, Jesus, like honestly, like, are we just so digitized now in our brains that we feel that it's just like, oh, great render. And I'm like thinking, what? When I got the delivery of these numbers, I was just kind of like, I had the feeling like when I printed my first printed flyer about 15 years ago, which was rubbish, but I was just looking at it like mesmerized. And this was the feeling 15 years later, just like I'm holding a piece of work which will be here, like it's just something. I have honestly I pushed myself to do something which I didn't need to do, but yeah, I've decided to create something which is total opposite, and I totally loved it. The most common question throughout the process by anyone who's been involved was, "What's this for?" Me. There was no real purpose. Like, it just needs to exist because I set out on this task, and I really wanted to sort of see it through. As I was kick-started by what I would call product making, I've looked through my hard drive, and I thought, what else I've got that I can turn into things that I can hold, I can give to people. So when you give people a poster, they need a frame. But if you give them a T-shirt, hey presto, they put it on. My love for surf photography inspired me to do a couple of screen prints, which were all made, since we're going technical today, all made in Adobe Illustrator, and there's lots of blend tool, and it's quite a simple technique, but I tried to play with it and try and sort of find some sort of hidden layers. Of course, Hendrix is doing a great job by blending with the frame. And I've also been pushing myself to finish projects because, we've all got ideas, and either obviously we sketch them, put them on Instagram, forget about them, or we just don't even get to Instagram, and they just sort of live and die and rot on our digital hard drive. So I've been making scarves. I've been turning my favorite poetry, my favorite poems into scarves, and kind of working on projects that don't really make like a huge deal of sense, but aesthetically, I just wanted to create something which is the balance between physical and emotional. And I'm regaining relationship with physical products. It's quite amazing that we tried these for the most fantastic things in Photoshop, and you cook it up and you give it to people and they go, what do you reckon? And they go, yeah. You give them a pencil with simple sort of message on it and people lose their shit. It's just like, yay! And what's happened, like literally I just been kind of sort of trying these things, and all of a sudden I realized I've got too many products which they don't really fall in place in my website. So I've created what I call my online corner shop, where I just sell these things. I don't really aim to make money. I actually enjoy myself doing this. And it's fun because I just can do anything I want. I am the client and I can do whatever I want, and I actually happily give stuff away. So I brought a big bag of stuff, and if you see me afterwards, giveaways. Yes, there'll be scrap. Throughout the process of this, I was learning by play. I've made tons of mistakes. I've got 3D rendering wrong. I've got the paper for the posters wrong. It was just, I made lots of mistakes, but I've been building confidence for future projects. Since then I've been doing laser cuts and all of the things, and just by explaining territories that I didn't really have to go to. When you think about it, I am indeed feeding it back to social media. I'm sort of semi-hypocrite, but as this is going to be instant history within minutes, days, hours, weeks, everything that I've created has got to life beyond a screen. I know it sounds a bit mental that I'm sort of talking about let's create physical things, because 15 years ago you were looking at me like, as opposed to what? But I encourage you, like we all got hard drives full of work. I encourage you to, when you go home, when you got 5 minutes, just look through your hard drive of archives and just see what you've got there, because there's bound to be something which is going to be a start of something new. You don't know where it's going to lead you, and see what happens. If you've got an idea, send it back now, inside out, back to front, and let's create work that outlasts the hashtag. Let's create work that doesn't bother about the numbers game. Let's not worry about the numbers, and see if along the way you can turn dust into gold. Dust being an idea, gold being the physical thing. And speaking of which, I want to close up with a section which talks about ideas, but also talks about the meaning of where that dust and that gold could be. I want to talk about ideas that can actually change lives and bring new meaning. I want to talk about a day where I got to see the work of a charity in eastern part of Uganda near the Kenyan border. And it's a small charity run by 2 people, Debs and Biki. If they're ever watching, you're amazing. And it was the first-hand experience of charitable work, of the work that and help where it's needed. They, among many things, they provide fresh water sources to Ugandan villages. And it was a life-changing experience. It was totally amazing to see the people in the village, how they drink the water. And I know it sounds a bit silly, like, okay, they're just drinking water. But seeing it firsthand, removed from our sort of cushy lives, it brought a tear to my eye. What was even more poignant about that day is that I got to see the work that I've created for the charity. I've did that branding, spent 6 months of pro bono work just to help them, because I wanted to make them look like Oxfam or Charity Water or whoever, Greenpeace. I just wanted to give them a head start in their game, because there's lots of people like them who try to make a difference, and they don't always have the funds or the connections, and they just use some WordPress templates, and they don't really get as many volunteers as they need. That's a little t-shirt with it. So all of this was free services, and it was lots of fun. The brief was pretty much like, can we have a logo that we can draw in the sand? Yes, I love the brief. But it made me also think, like, how many times I'm on a train, on a tube in London, and there's so many ads which are designed to appeal to us. We are hardwired to give money when there's a name to a person. We are more emotionally connected, but we don't always really engage. Like, we are so sheltered. You know, we are busy. We've got meetings. We've got people to sort of push on the tube, and as designers, we do try, though. We try really well, and there's some amazing exemplary examples of what people have done for charity. But when the disaster strikes, as designers, we create a poster, we put it online, we try to sell it, we try to give money to charity. But everyone in this room, even the man with the camera over there, has got something special that weighs more than gold. And that is your talent, your ambition, your skills, your creativity, your knowledge. And I think we should go and give it away. I think we should use our creativity as a tool to help. I think we should really do what we're good at and spend half of the time working for the boys in suits and use the money then to work with the people who actually really need ourselves. Let's be selfless. Let's really for a minute just forget about our interest and just go for it. Because charitable work is so unpredictably amazing. It blows my mind. So for the last about 5 or 6 years, I've been working with various charities, and one of them being WWF UK, obviously the pandas, not the wrestlers. And I worked for the second year on their flagship event called Earth Hour. I would never thought that it's possible to do digital type illustration for environmental charity, but it's possible. And the unpredictability of the project was that we've created this little sort of star-shaped pin, which had a meaning for the campaign. And we all sort of dream about, in the commercial world, we obviously dream about having people wearing a Nike t-shirt or something. Mostly we just aim to have pop stars, celebrities to be doing stuff for us. But through the charity work, this happened. If you're a little bit lost, ta-da! Prince Charles won my pin. I still can't believe that actually happened. And it just, I can't really put it into words. I think it was a mind-blowing event, and it's just kind of my highlight of my career. I mean, I've done amazing things, but this just blows it out of water. Throughout the campaign, I've come across this quote which says, "We are the first generation to feel the impact of the climate change, and the last generation that can something about it." And again, if you remove it just from climate change, I think it's our time to do something. I think we've been slightly reluctant, slightly lazy, and slightly sort of self-centered. I think it's time that actually we are trying to be the change. So with that, I urge you to be the best what you can be, create most amazing work, and go and make a difference. Thank you for listening.